For the sake of addressing the topic at hand, I must first preface it with this. Every work is not without flaws. Plot holes will plague any tale. Hindsight affects that which could have been solved, and so many other examples. However, the true merit of a work is not in how absolutely perfect it is, but rather how it gets across the idea that it wants to portray. So with this in consideration, I ask you, what is Sword Art Online about? Is it a wish fulfillment fantasy led by a purposefully blank main lead who is so overpowered he can do no wrong? Is it a wooded romance between two individuals with no chemistry? Is it about the ultimate video game experience that we all crave? In my personal opinion, from taking a look at the franchise and what it has to offer, it's not hard to see what the story is about. In seeing the adventures of those who delve into the world of full dive and augmented reality, Sword Art Online at its core is simply about one thing: reality. This concept of reality is something the show has been covering since the moment Kirigaya Kazuto donned his nerve gear on the fated day, the day the tragedy of Sword Art Online began. Those 2 years spent in Aincrad caused the deaths of thousands. It took them months to even clear the first floor as hysteria and fear prevented them from venturing out. Children were separated from their parents and people from their loved ones. They struggled for years until finally they were freed from that hell. Even after that, there were still those who were trapped by Nobuyuki Sugo in the world of Alfheim. Even as tragedy after tragedy swept over, those who were trapped in this game still chose to return to the virtual world. Why would Kirito, Asuna, and everyone else who was caught up in the SAO incident continue to use the very technology that trapped them for 2 years and threatened to end their very lives? Why do others follow suit knowing the dangers that lie within the technology? Surely no sane person would risk their lives to play a simple video game, right? It's just a game, a fantasy, it's nothing more than that. At least it is to us, who view it as such from the outside. But was SAO truly nothing but a horrifying death game where thousands were brutally slaughtered? Were they truly tortured by this hell that they were placed within? Were they doomed to die? Or were they given a chance to experience new life? Virtual reality. A reality that exists within the digital world. A landscape created by ones and zeros that housed the deaths of thousands but also the lives of all those who resided within Aincrad's walls. For those who experienced the world of SAO firsthand, it was more akin to a new life within a medieval fantasy landscape more so than it was a hellish death game. In any fantasy world, the deaths which occur are merely parts of that life. Life is survival. Life is fighting for one's right to survive in this world, and life is to cherish that which has already been given to them. If you look at how the world of Aincrad operates, after the death game is introduced, the way the world works is more akin to that of an isekai, and thus the story takes shape of that of an isekai. In fact, the world of Aincrad is no different from that of Berserk, ReZero, or any fantasy or isekai world in the sense that death is merely a consequence of life. These lives that those who resided in Aincrad were no longer the ones that they had within what we consider reality. This new reality that was presented to these players was a chance to be new people, to be something they could never be outside of it. A little girl could tame a dragon, a boy who never belonged could become a hero, and could fall in love with the girl formerly crushed by expectation and transformed into a mighty warrior. Families were created, relationships and bonds formed that couldn't be possible before, and all of this in a period of 2 years within a reality created just for them. Death, rather than being a punishment, was merely a consequence of life. Sword Art Online was no death game. It was a new reality. And with this in mind, the words of Akihiko Kayaba are all the more clear.
なぜか。私も長い間忘れていたよ。なぜだろうな。フルダイブ環境システムの開発を始めた時、いや、その遥か以前から私はあの城を、現実世界のあらゆる枠や法則を超越した世界を作り出すことだけを欲して生きてきた。空に浮かぶ鋼鉄の城の空想に私が取りつかれたのは何歳の頃だったかな。この地上から飛び立ってあの城へ行きたい。長い長い間、それが私の唯一の欲求だった。私はね、キリト君、まだ信じているのだよ。どこか別の世界には本当にあの城が存在するのだと。
The motive itself is not important because it's obvious. What Kayaba desired was what he gave to the citizens of Aincrad, a new life, Aincrad was his creation, a new world not bound by the limits of this one. The death penalty that he created was to truly create this new world and to once again cement that this is not a game, but rather a new world that he created. But unlike those within the game, Kayaba was weak. Kayaba attempted to play God in this new world. The death penalty that he gave to others was not something he was at first willing to apply to himself, using his powers as an admin to make him immortal in this new world. He hypocritically remained an observer. While he wanted to experience a new world, he was trapped within it. His desire was to abandon this reality and escape to one where he had all of the control. But that isn't what living is. His defeat at the hands of Kirito and Asuna was that of two individuals who experienced this new life. They had found new love, created a family, raised a daughter, experienced death and pain, but also great joy and happiness. Yui was proof of this, as she was nothing more than a computer program, but was able to find love in Kirito and Asuna. Every single death that they came across was carved into their hearts, but so was every positive feeling and emotion. They were the ones who achieved Kayaba's dream, while he merely cowered behind his control. His words were hollow, his power only existed within that reality. Sword Art Online, along with being a story of personal reality, also deals with what the creation of virtual reality can do with one's real life. Upon exiting Sword Art Online, Kazuto was able to make amends with his cousin and create relationships outside of the game. Asuna was able to stand up to her mother and pursue that which she desired, something she was never able to do before. Those who came out of Sword Art Online and used that reality to improve their lives outside of the game are the ones who benefited from it. This brings us to the story of the Pink Devil who conquered the Squad Jam. Kohirui Maki Karen, better known by her username Len, was a girl who was always self-conscious about her height. No matter where she went, she stood out among a crowd. Because of her complex about her height, she had issues socializing with others, relying only on her one close friend. She went through life with no confidence and a desire to become more than who she was, but with no idea how. That was until her friend introduced her to the world of virtual reality. In this world, appearances don't mean anything because you can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. Whoever you are in the real world is irrelevant because here you're a new person. And in the brutal, futuristic world of Gun Gale Online, Kohirui Maki Karen was no one but Len. Len, unlike Karen, was confident, vocal, and most importantly, small and adorable. Everything Karen wanted to be, but she was also incredibly strong, stronger than anyone in the battlefield, and everyone knew to fear the Pink Devil and her P90 submachine gun, or P-chan. As Len grew stronger in the world of GGO, Karen became more confident in the real world. The brutal world of GGO that gave her a rush and a thrill that she could never experience in the real world gave her a new perspective on the life that she had been given, because regardless of appearances and regardless of stature, even the tiniest girl can defeat the strongest of enemies. And if Len can do that, if she can do that, what's to stop Karen from being able to have that confidence in real life? Real life is nothing compared to what she faced in Squad Jam. Nothing compared to the brutal hell in the world of GGO. And it was Len who taught her that. Pitohui, on the other hand, is a different story entirely. She desired nothing but the escape of this boring reality we live in and sought solace in the virtual world. She let loose her violent urges onto the world of GGO, mercilessly killing and torturing everyone she came across, using and taking advantage of everyone. She, unlike Len, sought not an outlet to become a different person and do things you can't do in our reality, but instead sought an escape. This world was boring, it had too many limitations. What is the point of living if I can't be myself? In her search for the ultimate thrill, she's found despair in missing her opportunity to join the most deadly game of all. The greatest thrill of all. The death game known as Sword Art Online. The ultimate game, the thrill that she could never experience in real life, where there are consequences to the power that you've been given. A death game where with every health point lost means much more than any game can give, more excitement than the monotony of reality. But she missed her chance. Kanzaki Elsa would have to stay in the world as she is, trapped in society's expectations of who she should be. If she wanted a death game, she would have to find a way herself. Squad Jam was that solution. If she lost Squad Jam, she and her close friend Asoka Goshi would end their lives. This game was all she had left, and she was willing to give up everything she had just for a thrill, for an escape. But Len understood what GGO was. GGO was more than just some game, more than a mere escape from the troubles of the world. In this reality, Karen was Len, the pink demon, She was the champion of the first squad jam and was capable of anything because she put her all into this new life that she'd been given. GGO is no mere game, and only those who understood that had the potential to become strong. This world was not an escape. It was another world separate from her own that was just as real and powerful as the life of the girl donning that amnisphere. Even against those who were soldiers in real life, she was able to stand against them because she took everything she did seriously. This game that changed Karen's life was not something she would abandon to, something she would give up her own life to be in. The life of Kohiru Rimaki Karen was just as valid as the life of Len. The life of little Kanzaki Elsa was just as valid as the life of Pizzahui. Len beat Pizzahui because Len understood what virtual reality was. Reality. To be able to understand that both realities, flesh or virtual, are just as valid as one another is to understand and appreciate what they give you. Every character that succeeds in the world of SAO is someone who uses each reality to fully appreciate the other and improve themselves as people. Sinon, who was racked with the trauma of what she did, used Gun Gale Online to get over that guilt, becoming more open as a result and able to gain more friends as a result. The girls of the Rhythm Athletics Club used it as a way to improve their teamwork and became closer to each other than ever after having faced the battles in the world of GGO. Suguha, who wished to understand what her brother loved so much about the virtual world, became Lifa and was able to open up her feelings that she had kept dormant. Yuki, who couldn't even live in the real world, was able to become a fighter stronger than Kirito and meet people who she bonded with and was given a chance to see the world she couldn't live in before giving her final breath. As these people grew stronger in the virtual world, they carried that strength into their current reality and vice versa. Everything they experienced, flesh or virtual, was real, something that was threatened by the existence of augmented reality. Ordinal Scale challenges this idea, having the story focus on the removal of the memories of SAO. This machine that brings the virtual into the real world came at the expense of one's memories in that death game and Aincrad. One of the victims of that being Asuna, but it was just her memories. She still had her love for Kirito. He was right there by her side. Yui, her daughter, was still there. Every friend she gained was still there, so it shouldn't matter if her memories were taken. What does it matter if the memories of that death game are gone? But it is said that the loss of memory is akin to a loss of life. Those memories, those experiences of one's life during that time are gone. For Asuna, every moment, every person she met, every death she carried with her, every feeling that she experienced in the castle of Aincrad was gone. The life of Asuna, member of the Knights of the Blood Oath, and the one and only love of the Black Swordsman, was dead. That life she had earned where she experienced so many things, changed as a person and allowed her to change who she was erased at the hands of the Agma for Tetsuhiro Shigemura's goal of bringing back his daughter. Kirito, who was willing to take back the life that Asuna lost, strengthened himself to become closer to who he was before. It was because of the will given to him by that world that Kirigai Kazuto once more returned to the world of Aincrad, to the floor they couldn't reach before, once more as the Black Swordsman. Sword Art Online is a story that contains many flaws and issues with its execution, but to deny what it did is limiting. While it may not have been as good as what it could have been, recent works such as Ordinal Scale and Alternative are returning back to that which made the original story special, this distinction of reality. What was experienced in the virtual world is just as valid as that in our real lives, and as the series reaches into its third season and the world of Underworld, we once again remember the truth that every feeling, every life we interact with and cross, is all a part of our reality.
Thank you for watching another video by yours truly, WatTheWut. Now, I want to preface something again. I don't think Sword Art Online is good, to be precise, not seasons 1 and 2. They have good ideas and they have moments of good execution, but every time that they don't conform to this theme, it's not good. What I am saying, however, is that Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, Sword Art Online Alternative, and Alicization are all pretty good, and I'm probably going to be expanding upon that later on in December. I would like to now thank my patrons, namely people like Fleur Rod Butt, The Pretentious One, Chandler Makes Vidya, and Chaz Mix. If you want to find out more updates on new videos, you can follow me on Twitter or go into my Discord server. If you want to donate some money without having to do a monthly subscription, you can go on my Coffee. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye!